What are you going to make?
There we go. What are we going to make here, folks? No one's watching, so it doesn't matter. But this will be archived, so maybe someday someone will watch it. What are we going to make, Dan? I've got Dan Hennig here, star of the recently critically acclaimed movie Playfair. This is a momentous occasion.
It is a momentous occasion.
Absolutely momentous occasion. In the meantime, we're going to say hi to the guests here. So here we go. Here's your host. And here's our guest here.
I'm happy to be here today for this very important time in ceramics and ceramic history. We are going to accomplish something today that we've never tried before. We are going to actually do something incredibly unique and individual.
We're going to make a mug with an animal on it, which has only been done by a ceramic artist for a few thousand years. But we're going to make one that's different in the fact that it happened on this day and this time. So what animal are we going for? That's your question.
Something that we've never done before.
Oh, that's hard.
I'm looking right here.
We're going to do Yoda?
Why not?
I thought we stayed away from fantasy stuff. Nothing that applies to the... Besides, who owns Yoda?
Who owns Yoda? Somebody owns it.
Who recently acquired Yoda?
Who did?
Chewie acquired Yoda. So yeah, I suppose Chewie acquired. No, we know who acquired Yoda. Walt acquired Yoda.
Walt Disney.
You know what?
Did Walt acquire Yoda?
Disney bought Lucasfilms. So guess what that means?
That means what? Mickey.
Don't fuck with Walt. Don't fuck with Walt. You don't fuck with Mickey. You don't fuck with Yoda. Those things are off limits now. You just don't fuck with those things. Because guess what? You don't want Walt coming after you. So anyway, so we're not going to go for that. We're not going to go for Yoda because if we go in for Yoda, oh shit.
We'll have a whole ration of problems coming down our driveway.
There'll be more lawsuits than we can shake a stick at from Walt and the gang. So anyways, we're going to stay clear of anything like that. We're going to go with something that Mother Nature has provided us. In this case, I'm going to start off with this little hunk of clay here and pinch up yes, that's right. I'm going to go for an alligator. I've done a lot of them before, but the reason I'm going to do one now is because guess what? It's something I can kind of do quick. And meanwhile, my father is going to make a tail for this thing. So
I'm actually going to make a handle for this thing.
He's going to be making the handle. So I'm going to go for this head. I'm going to try to put this head on, and in a few seconds, I'm going to switch places. He's going to do the handle. And then maybe I'll come back. I'll do some eyes, and then he's going to make a mouth. And we're going to flip back and forth on this thing for a few minutes and see where the fuck it goes. And if there's foul language and profanity,
you'll have to get used to it.
You have to get used to it because you know what? YouTube doesn't seem to care unless they yell at me, unless I get a note that says, stop cussing. And I know this is bad. I know considering my present occupation. Probably I should keep my cussing down, and maybe I'll be in deep trouble for this. Probably will. But in the meantime, we're going to be, my father and I are going to be having some fun. This is some family bonding time.
So you see what Ira's doing now. He's scoring the side of the cup. What you're doing is you're roughing up the surface so that you can apply a little bit of slip. And slip is merely clay that's had some water attached to it, added to it. So he's roughing up both of these surfaces, as you can see. And he's going to apply the alligator's head onto that roughed up surface. And then you just have to use your hands.
And some cool groovy tools like this one.
Yeah.
Flattened edge.
Did you make that one?
Hell yeah.
That's nice.
Man, I was sick of having an awkward situation, so I had to come in there to get me in so I could dig in. You need to dig into the alligator's head and bring some of the clay, which is located on the head, onto the body of the cup. You need to blend those two and compress the molecules on the surface of this stuff, because that is how you're going to get it not to crack. The molecules are all loose and they haven't been compacted and set like little bricks. They will fall apart. It's a pain in the ass stuff to deal with. It's called cracking. Plus, we're working on these things kind of chewy. We're being very delicate with these cups because what happens is if you you can put them together when they're all wet, and they tend to do a lot better. These are pretty soft, but they won't get as cracked up. All right, I'm getting ready to get out of here and hand this next shot over to Dan.
I will show you what I'm going to do. I'm going to make a.
So I'm going to be a camera person here, and we're going to bring the camera.
What I'm going to
down.
do is I'm going to make a handle for this particular piece. Now I'm just going to demonstrate because I've already actually made the handle. I'm going to use this tool right here, which is kind of a strange little tool that you find in your local shop somewhere. I don't know where you can get these. Probably in like a kitchen shop or something. And a chunk of clay. I'm going to roll out this, and I'm going to use this little item right here because it's got these nice little tines. You can take the clay, I put it at an angle, and then I roll it across here. Makes it kind of look like a barbershop pole almost. I don't know if you can see that or not. Yeah. So we've got this piece, but actually this isn't quite big enough to fit onto here. It actually could fit on there possibly. But what I'm going to do is I've got another one that I've already made. It's longer. And so what I'm going to do, Ivor's going to swing this camera down here while I do this. I'm going to take this and I'm going to bend this in kind of like this. And I'm going to cut kind of an angle right here and an angle right there. And so what I've got is I've got like a handle that kind of looks like that. And that handle is going to go on this piece right over here. See how it's going to fit on there like that? So I'm going to do the same process that Ivor did. I'm going to score this. I'm going to add some slip on there. I will also score this part, add a little slip. You notice that I got to put my hand inside the cup because if you don't, you're going to deform the inside of your cup. So I'm just putting this on there. To make it a little stronger, I'm just going to add a little piece of clay underneath here too.
That's looking awful groovy. You do need support. If it starts to get cracks, it usually happens right up here at the tops and the bottom. So putting clay for support is always a good idea. And it's gooey, so you got to use a sponge.
Use a little sponge on there if we wet this one. So you've got this kind of cool thing. And this is one of the parts that I actually cut off of the end. And I'm just going to actually just grab this, slip this, and put this part right up here on the top. Just kind of use that little part for a little thumb or a finger rest. And this is actually a really comfortable handle because your hand fits right inside here like so. Okay, I'm going to hand this over to Ivor. Let him get in here.
All right, what's next in this whole process? All right, next thing that happens is we're going to do some eyes on this thing here. We got to get some eyes on this little creature here. So I'm going to come in and we're going to go a couple little eyes here. I'm just going to take two little pieces of eyeball. Yeah, like that. Just two pieces. I usually do them.
2 eyes, 2 hands. Amazing.
2 eyes, 2 hands. There we are. Choose 2 little pieces. And we're going to put those right up here at the top of the head. They're going to be inset a little bit. here off the edge because the alligator kind of has little.
And you need to make the part of the lid of the eyeball. So you have to put together another little.
That's going to be a little coil like that. We'll add a little slip over here and then the front here. And then we put that little part over the top. This little part over the top.
Then, of course, you got to go back and you have to use one of your tools or your finger to
goo it all in. Make it happy. Make it sappy. We're going to use this dank tool again because it gets in there, and we're going to push this in. And we come around and do the same thing to this. Oh, Jerry, sing it. Thanks to the Grateful Dead for providing us with
our musical interlude today.
It's been a very, very peaceful experience here. And just in a moment here, I'm almost done with these eyes. We're going to have Dan come back here. He's going to pull an encore act by putting on the mouth, giving some nostrils, and giving this guy some character, which will complete.
And I'm sure I will do it a little bit different than the way Ivor does it. But this is a collaborative effort right here.
It doesn't matter. We are making this up as we go. Everything is just of the moment. And this piece will someday, hopefully, be fired up and put into the universe. Archaeologists will be digging this up in about 40,000 years, wondering what the fuck we were thinking. Or thanking us that we actually have some representations of the creatures that no longer exist on the planet. I give them a little angry eye here on either side.
Oh, the angry eye.
The angry eye. All right, and I'm going to pass this over to Dan for some final touches.
I'm gonna add some other stuff here too. I want to add some texture on this guy. I'm just gonna add some little parts over here because
you go for it, Dan. Take it away.
If you see alligators, you'll see that they've got these funny little thick parts behind their head.
There we go. It's looking awful good here.
I need a different kind of tool here.
What do you need, Dan? We got whatever you need here.
I got it
right here.
Kind of.
Right. Parlor.
Okay. Now what I'm going to do, I don't know if Ivor's got the right tool for it, but I'm going to create his teeth right now.
Yeah, it looks like it's the right tool right there.
As you can see, he's starting to develop a few little teeth there.
Which later will be underglaze will be added, or white glaze over the top of those teeth to let them stand out and look different from the green glaze that we'll put onto the body of the gator later. And they don't have to be perfect. Remember, we're in the style of impressionistic and funky. So it's okay. Mess ups can be accentuated. You write them off. Not everything is perfect in the world.
There's no rules for this.
There's no rules.
You can just do it the way you want to do it, you know.
And if it looks funky,
if you don't like these teeth, you can just
smooth them back.
Undo what I just did and actually just put a huge big tooth like this on the side or whatever.
Yeah, we can do whatever we want.
But this is the way I'm doing it right now, so we'll just go with this.
And I know people often say, "Oh, put big teeth, put this, put that." You know, we don't really do fantasy. There's enough people doing fantasy. We do kind of representational earth animals, just with funky attitudes.
Doing something with his little nose right here.
You know, I've reading the Bernard Leach book about called Hamada, about his experiences and some of Soji Hamada's experiences too as a youth. And it's interesting in pursuit of that expressionistic ceramics that didn't adhere to the perfection that was so much desired for so long by ceramicists. You know what I mean?
Well,
ceramicists.
That's the whole. I think that's the whole studio pottery movement. It was like a response to the factory-oriented look of just factory ceramics. It's like this. Let's kind of take back this material again.
And in a lot of ways, I think we are still building upon that as artists, even 100 years later. Just as the Grateful Dead here is making up as they went along in their concerts and playing live. They didn't worry about whether the notes were perfect, and they put them together and they let them fly, and it was a loose expression of the moment. And I think that's what clay sometimes is, as this is right here. A loose expression of the moment. All right, what else do you need? Here we got some tools in here. We've got this.
That something with a ball on the end of it so I can press out. I just want to distort this thing. See, I mean, here once again, I mean, this is thrown on the potter's wheel, right? So I mean, this is pretty well done. I mean, look at this is a nicely thrown cup that Ivor did, but you don't have to leave it that way. So
you need to take things to the next limit.
Let's push out a few little parts here. And then we'll exaggerate these bumps on here later. Maybe even draw some circles around them. I'm just, we're just kind of hinting at like the texture of an alligator, Do alligators have these little bumps and circles? I don't know.
We don't care sometimes.
We don't care.
It's about what we've envisioned as our impression of this creature. We know that there's people out there that can sculpt them perfectly because they can, get an old dead alligator and sculpt it perfectly. And sometimes I do look at pictures to get a newer impression, and I see something different. But I don't keep the picture next to me. And I can't. If I pick the picture next to me and I keep just looking at the picture trying to replicate it, I'll drive myself crazy because I can't replicate nature. No one can replicate nature. We simply represent an impression of nature that we as humans have come up with on the moment that we were making our art.
So anyway, you got this. What about the slippery trails?
I don't know what that. Oh, wait. Oh, you did have one over here. But I don't think there's anything in it. It's all hard.
Okay, we don't have to worry about that. We'll do that some other time.
We need to come up with something that's
I need a needle tool to poke. You got to remember that this is hollow on the inside right here. This guy is hollow. So you definitely have to make a hole in his nose, because this thing will blast right off.
The corners of the mouth sometimes.
Or the corner of the mouth.
Now, if you have a little bit of air trapped, you can get away with it if you fire really slowly. We've seen that happen time and time again. But people are impatient, and by and large,
as a general rule, you don't want to.
You don't have to, though. We have seen people do it, and people will swear that you don't have to, and that you're right. You don't have to. Absolutely. I agree. But if you're impatient like us and move quick and don't have a lot of time for dilly-dally, then no. Poke a little hole. It doesn't hurt.
This has been cut off.
Oh, wait. We got to get
really
some
nicely
sponge
too.
at the bottom. Yeah, sponge that bottom. Get the back of them edge because, guess what? Everybody's going to look at the bottom of the dang piece. They're always going to. I do. We all do. We pick it up. We look at the bottom. That's what potters do.
And you want to, and I usually tend to pat the bottom so that it's got this little concave feeling right in there. And then, I don't know, you can always add a couple of little finger marks, you know.
Once again,
Proof that it's handmade.
Yes, fingerprints and little marks that are not perfect that show maybe mock dents from well-worn times at the bar.
And then here, which is a nice little tool right here. This one says
Here, we'll use this one.
LC.
But we're going to use the H because H stands for Hennick.
Okay.
That's something
So-
that we both.
So we've got this little stamp, which we're going to use, and we're going to
upright. Make it an H. Make sure it's an H.
Like that,
not an I. Yeah.
we're going to do it right here.
There we go.
And there's the H right there.
We're also going to come over here
And date it.
just for the hell of it because guess what? We're throwing the archaeologist a bone right now by saying, "Here you go. Here, this is when it was made." We're going to put a little date here. Right there on the bottom. And then tuck that back up there. There we go.
2015. So any of you who will be around in a couple 100,000 years will know where this came from. This is kind of getting a little distorted up at the top, but you know,
Guess what?
it's just the nature of it.
All of our lives are distorted. So
Okay.
it just represents everything about us. So there we go.
All right.
That's this. And
That's it. That's
This
how
is-
it's done.
this has been Clay Theater. Hey, okay. See you later, folks.